Overthinking is the thing that puts the most pressure on you as an athlete, and that's why when you go to compete, you tend to overthink things a lot more because it's a totally different environment than what it is when you're actually being competitive. So, in the example of tennis, you're thinking about your stroke more, your foot position, your position on the court, your strategy, you're thinking about your opponent, trying to second guess where they're going to hit the ball, where you're going to hit the ball. You're thinking about the crowd, you're thinking about who's supporting you, you're thinking about the umpire. Too much to think about. When really you should be forgetting about most of that and focusing on the thing that you do best, getting into a flow state, playing with freedom and relaxing and being competitive. But once you let all those thoughts get in, it just scrambles your mind, it scrambles your brain. It's just too much, it's overwhelmed. And before you know it, your game's down, your set down, and then you've got to think about all that too to get back in the game. So we know the top players are good at that, um, but they've got used to that. So they've started somewhere. They've had to overcome that as well. And some are better at it than others. So we know there's lots of skilled players out there that are really good, especially in practice. And sometimes they can't deliver, especially when they go behind points, or especially when they're playing a more ranked senior player. Okay, too much to think about. So where does it all come from? So can we help someone to stop from overthinking? Yes, of course we can. You can do it when you're not playing, so it's easy to do it when you're not playing. You can calm yourself down, you can focus on something, you can control your breath. So much harder to do in competition in the heat of battle. And that's when you need to kind of stay relaxed and focused the most. So, can you do it? Is there a solution? There is a solution. You can do it, and there is a solution. So you'll get lots of tips, like I just said a minute ago. So you'll get lots of players in between sets. They put a towel over their head. They kind of meditate. They go into the zone. They practice mindfulness. Maybe they've got a mantra, and that helps calm them down. You can only keep that up for so long, okay? Because the thinking still comes back. It's that heat of battle, the competition, especially when the pressure's on. Maybe you'll do it in the early rounds of a tournament, but as you increase, the further you go in the tournament, there's naturally more pressure because you're going to meet better players. There's more at stake. There's more ranking points. There's more money. There's sponsorship, bigger crowds, more television. And even if you're not professional, even at your own level, you put a lot more pressure on yourself because you know you're being judged by someone. There's always someone sniggering or laughing when you make mistakes, and they're trying to do that to put you off, and it's succeeding as well. So no matter what level you're at, you'll find your level of overthinking, and it'll come from somewhere. I'll guarantee you that. So there is a solution. So if you can overthink, you can help underthink and focus down. So I'm going to say focus down, and that's great advice, but that's what you need to do. But how do you do that? I'm sure your coach, your friend has said to you, focus. Okay, and you try. It's not easy, especially against a skilled opponent who's trying to disrupt that thinking and get you to a flow state. So that's what they're trying to do as well. They're trying to interrupt that pattern and break you. And how many times have you seen a couple of tight sets and then you go into another one, and after you've lost the first one, overthinking goes into overdrive and the pressure's on to win the second set, and the score ends up 6-love or 6-1. So how many times have you experienced that or seen that? So you kind of go into free fall with the overthinking. So the overthinking is actually a protection mechanism. So you've got to understand that. First of all, it's a protection mechanism. You're probably thinking, what the heck is he talking about? How is that protecting me? So if you think about it, if you didn't overthink, because overthinking is a form of self-sabotage, because that's what it's doing, or even procrastination. If you're overthinking even before you get to play, well, let's call it self-sabotage, the overthinking, the pressure you put on yourself. If it's self-sabotage, then why would that be a benefit? If you self-sabotage yourself and lost a match and didn't play well, how does that benefit you in any way? Now, this is where your subconscious mind comes in. There's a little part of you that wants you to not lose, but be comfortable. It doesn't want you to get to the next level. It doesn't. It knows you're already kind of feeling those emotions and the pressure, which means if you get to another level or beat a more skilled opponent, the pressure is going to increase. So even if you think that of that pressure as fire, the heat's getting turned up, the fire is going to spread. How can you possibly handle that if you can't handle this? So it's giving you a way out. This is your get out of jail card. You've got to a good level. This is my level. It's comfortable. Because maybe whenever I get to the next level, maybe I'll get beat 6-love, 6-love. And I'll really be exposed. I'll be found out for the fraudster that I am. I've been lucky so far. And then what? What does that say about my career and me? You know, as a player, as a person. So that's the belief underneath, and it's evidence to say there's a little part of you in your mind that says you're not good enough, and this is the proof. So it's gonna. So this self-sabotage, this overthinking, is stopping you from finally producing that mass piece of evidence. So to expose you for not being enough, to finally say that. And it does this by letting you lose a little bit faster. It upsets your rhythm, gives you all those emotions, the anxieties, the fears, at just the right level. Because as soon as it feels the pressure rising, it's like, okay, let's knock this off. Let's flick the switch. And then when you lose, it's like, I told you this was your level. You'll never get ever past this. And it's like, well, I'm playing at my level. So there's some satisfaction there. I'm playing at my level. So you've got to break through the overthinking by understanding what it's actually trying to do for you. So it is actually trying to help you. There's some sort of benefit. There's some sort of rhyme and reason to it, which is great. So if you can find that out, then you can change it. You can find out why it's trying to do that for you. There is a reason behind it. I'm not going to go into that now. That'll make for a long episode. But what I'm trying to say to you, there is a solution to the problem. And there's this perfectly rational explanation why you have the problem. You don't realize that right now. But now you know, you have an awareness of, you can find out. And once you find out, then there's also a solution to change that, which has been hardwired into you. It's a protection mechanism. It's there for a reason. But you need to flick that switch if you want to progress. If you want to stay at your level, don't do anything. You know, your mind will find a way to keep you at your level. It'll keep you feeling safe and warm and comfortable, even though you might think this is a problem. But I want you to think of it the other way. How does it feel right now if you didn't have this problem? So what are the benefits? Oh, I'll be a champion. I'll play better. I'll get ranking points. I'll get more income, become more famous. So it sounds good on the surface. And now sit with that for a second. What would that really feel like for you right now? Having to compete at a higher level all the time, practice harder, having to reproduce that form all the time, more notoriety, more fame, more interviews, more expectations of yourself from your family, your coach, your fans. You're going to get more fans. And again, if you're just a club level player, you're going to expect to reproduce this all the time. There's always that player that you hate, you love to beat, and it's the same for them. They love to beat you for some reason. There's a rivalry, and that's okay. It's competition. But what if you kind of can't keep that up, and those old rivalries, they're starting to beat you all the time again? There's always a downside of being successful. So getting what you want, there's always a downside of that. You've got to balance stuff for yourself. So I want you to work out best case scenario without overthinking, being in the flow, focus. How far are you going to go? How far do you want to go? Can you handle that? Are you ready to take that on? Because when you get to another level, so even if you work on your overthinking now and you overcome it, you're going to rise to a certain level again where there's going to be another block, a plateau where you've kind of got to break through some sort of barrier, a personal barrier, and it's different for everyone. So are you ready for that? You know, if you think about Everest, there's only so many get to the top. It gets colder, it gets harder. There's different air up there. It's harder to breathe. It's more dangerous. Now, the reward is probably amazing, but getting there is pretty tough, scary. It's not for everyone. It takes preparation, planning, strategy, determination, inspiration, motivation. So are you ready for that? If you're at a good level professionally, probably yes. If you're a club player that wants to stay at their own level, well, there's a certain level you want to get to. Okay? And you want to play your best, you want to enjoy the sport and do your very, very best. But how far do you really want to go? Because you're going to put more pressure on yourself in a different way, in a good way. And this is all about embracing that as well. So there's something to think about. There is a solution. Overthinking is sabotage. You've got an awareness of that now. It's trying to do something for you. It's something that I can't explain to you personally right now. It is a protection mechanism. That's a good thing. But now you've got to change it and get it to adapt to your situation. And you can't do that. And once you do that, that's the solution that you've been looking for to your problem. So thanks for watching. Please watch the next video that's coming up. I'm Robert Anderson. Please subscribe, support, and like, comment. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.